You know that feeling when you use an AI to code a website and it just looks, well, a little generic? It has that lifeless AI vibe. Well, today we are going to fix that. I'm going to show you 5 simple but really powerful hacks to build professional, custom branded websites with Claude Code, even if you're a complete beginner. So let's start with a problem I'm sure a lot of you have run into. You ask an AI to whip up a website, and it just feels bland. The layout's a little too perfect, there are no cool animations, and it just screams, I was made by a robot. That's the AI vibe, and we are absolutely going to get rid of it. The good news is there's a clear playbook to solve this. Seriously, by the end of this explainer, you're going to have a step-by-step process to create slick, professional-looking landing pages that actually feel like they were designed by a human. All right, let's dive in. Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the basic setup. Then we're going to give our AI a brain and a rulebook. After that, we'll look at how to automate the path to perfection, learn how to borrow inspiration like a pro, and finally take our project from our own computer to a live website for the whole world to see. First things first, every great project needs a solid foundation, right? So we're going to set up our digital workshop. Getting this part right from the get-go is absolutely crucial for getting the best results. It's a super quick 4-step process. First, you're going to need a code editor. We're using Visual Studio Code, which everyone just calls VS Code. Then, inside VS Code, you'll install the Claude Code extension. You will need a paid Anthropic subscription for this, either Pro or Max. And last, just create a fresh, empty folder. That's going to be your new project workspace. Simple as that. Okay, now let's get into our first couple of hacks. These are all about solving what I like to call the dumb AI problem. We're going to do that by giving Claude a core set of instructions, basically a brain and a personality for our project. So, here is the secret sauce. It's a single file called claude.md. Just think of this as the permanent brain for your project. Before Claude does anything you ask, it reads this file first to understand the rules of the road. This makes sure every single action it takes is consistent and lines up with what you actually want. And that brings us right to hack number 1, which is how we totally kill that generic AI vibe. Inside your claude.md file, you're going to add one simple rule. Always invoke the front-end design skill. This is basically a custom instruction that teaches Claude how to build modern, dynamic sites with cool animations. And that's the secret to getting that professional look and feel. And hey, here's a little bonus pro tip to go with that. Create a folder, call it Brand Assets, and just drop your logo and brand guidelines in there. Then, when you're writing a prompt, you can just use the @ symbol to tag those files and bam, Claude will automatically use your brand's exact colors, fonts, and logo. It's a huge time saver. All right, let's keep building on this. AI is awesome, but you know how it often gets you like 60% of the way there? It leaves you with all these little tedious manual fixes. Well, this next hack automates that entire painful correction process. This is where things get really, really cool. It's called the screenshot loop. So after Claude writes the code, it uses this tool called Puppeteer to take a screenshot of its own work. Then it literally looks at that screenshot, compares it to your original instructions, finds any mistakes, and then it automatically fixes the code itself. It's this amazing self-correcting loop that takes your site from 60% done to near perfect, all without you having to do a thing. Staring at a blank canvas can be pretty intimidating. But the good news is you don't have to start from scratch. These next 2 hacks are all about using amazing, high-quality designs that already exist as your starting point. Hack number 3 is all about cloning a site that inspires you. Go browse places like Dribbble or Godly until you find a layout you absolutely love. Then just take a full-page screenshot of it. You'll also want to open your browser's developer tools, usually just by hitting F12, and copy the site style code. You give both the screenshot and the code to Claude, and it'll replicate the entire layout for you. It's an incredible head start. So you've really got 2 ways to go about this. Hack 3, which we just covered, is all about cloning a full layout, which is fantastic for getting a base template up and running fast. Or you can use hack 4 to be a bit more surgical and inject specific, high-quality features to give it a more custom feel. And that brings us to hack 4, using individual components. So instead of cloning an entire site, you can go to component libraries like 21st.dev, find a really polished element, like a slick animated background or a shiny button, and just tell Claude exactly where you want it. This is how you start to add that unique professional flair.
But, and this is a huge warning, you have to listen to this. If you are adding an animated element, you must tell Claude to turn off the screenshot tool for that specific command. Why? Well, because the animation is always moving, Claude will see the screenshot and think something is broken. It'll get stuck in an endless loop trying to fix it, and it just over-engineers a solution that completely falls apart. Okay, so we've used all these hacks to build a beautiful, professional website. But there's one tiny problem. It only exists on our computer. So let's check out the final hack for getting it live on the internet so everyone can see it. And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle, the deployment pipeline. It sounds complicated, but it's not. First, you just tell Claude to push your final code to a place called GitHub. Then, this amazing free service called Vercel automatically sees that new code, grabs it, and deploys it to a live public URL. The whole thing is pretty much automated and makes going live so simple. Now, the real beauty of this whole setup is the safe workflow it gives you. You can test any new changes you want on your local machine first. Once you're totally happy with how a new feature looks, you just tell Claude, push the commit to GitHub, and Vercel instantly and automatically updates your live site with the changes. No stress. So let's just put it all together. When you combine all these hacks, a strong claude.md file as the brain, the front-end design skill for that professional polish, the screenshot loop for self-correction, inspiration from other sites, and that clean deployment pipeline, you have a complete, powerful system for building incredible websites with AI. This whole process, it really changes the game. It takes website creation from being this scary technical task and turns it into something that's genuinely creative and fun. So now you have the playbook. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?